Folks. I thought I'd make a video about my Citizen 120D printer and just some nostalgic memories I had with it recently. And yeah, I got a chance to relive this printer via my Mega 65, and it was also a chance to reflect on. My dad used to call it the smart printer, and I never really understood why he thought that. And yeah, it gave me some insights on that too. And yeah, also in advance, yeah, all the artwork you see here, that was generated by ChatGPT, just suggestions from my past memories of what things might have looked like, and it went with that with cute retro art style. So yeah, the trigger for all of this, Gardner's on the Mega 65 Discord. He was offering some old tractor feed paper that he was getting rid of, and I was curious about it. But yeah, I've got memories of using this stuff too. But unfortunately, his one didn't it was a different size. It won't fit for my printer, but nonetheless, it got my printer out and got me curious about it again and wanting to plug it into the Mega 65 and see if it still worked. So the resurrection, some problems initially. The ribbon was dry and couldn't print anything via the service mode. So I tried the WD-40 on it. That was a suggestion online, and yeah, that worked well. And I did a test print via the service test mode. And but I'll also share a video of the me trying the WD-40 opening the ribbon cartridge because I was pretty nervous about this the first time I'm doing anything like this, opening it up. It's quite fiddly. Use two hands. And once you open up, underneath is I guess a lot of ribbon cable. Yeah, this big long length of maybe 10 meters worth of folded up ribbon cable here. And then you'll see me nervously spraying the WD-40 onto it in a somewhat conservative manner. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much to spray on or how much you needed for consistency across the ribbon. But they suggested to spray it and then leave it for 24 hours for the liquid to sort of soak into the ribbon, which I did. And yeah, the results were pretty good. So I left that there and then just put the lid back on. Okay, I think we're good to go. Next. So yeah, then I got a chance once Moana got home from school. I let her have a bit of a play with it. And yeah, her first reaction was just to put her hands over her ears like this. So it's like, oh, what a racket it makes when this thing turns on. But still, she had some fun, so I can share a bit of video footage of some of her printing efforts.
Let's have a look at what your string is here. Oh, okay. You want to see it print out over here? Okay. Yeah, that's it. Go. Ooh.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh, look. That's QWERTY.
That's it. Yeah, it does say QWERTY.
There you go. A bit of fun can be had in the next generation too with these things. But yeah, this brought back memories for me of when the Commodore first came into my life. That was back in 1986. It only came with a data set, and so that's my very earliest memories, just loading things off off a tape. And yeah, we didn't have a disk drive and a printer until maybe a few months later, I think. Just one day, Dad surprised us. We came home from school, my sister and I, and there, smack in the living room, was these boxes with this printer and disk drive in it. And yeah, we were amazed that Dad got these things for us, and yeah, over the moon. Sorry. But yes, Dad was insisting to me, Gucci, this is a smart printer. You have to take this printer very seriously. And yeah, he insisted I read the manual for it, which was this big bulky thing, 100 pages or so, I don't know. And yeah, it was quite confusing. Why do I need to read this manual to print something? Yeah, I was really struggling to understand why did I need to do this. But yes, in the manual there were these funny, odd-looking, print CHR dollar this character that, set these things this way and that way, and what was going on. And he also insisted I learn about EasyScript, and I think he got a pirated version from some workmate, and he brought home a photocopy of the manual, which was hundreds of pages long too, and wanted me to read that as well. But I really didn't have a clue what was going on. Like in the manual, you'll see type in these funny tokens and NB and asterisk LM1, RM40, and all these things were making the document look kind of ugly. Like, why do I want all these things in my document? I wasn't really getting it. And so, yeah, I didn't really understand, well, what's this program trying to achieve by doing all this? Yeah, I think the problem for me was that I think the year prior, which is 1985 for me, this we got introduced at school to our computer room, and the teacher sort of introduced us to various programs like uh, Multiscribe was one of them, a word processor. There were other things like Logo and Carmen San Diego and things like that. But yeah, Multiscribe. Not that we got it as kids, like, but it was just kind of fun. Like, it was like an early word processor of its time. But we were grasping what's a word processor. We didn't know. But nonetheless, kids were pecking through the menus and changing fonts and changing font size, making them bigger and smaller, and showing each other, going like, "Wow, this is fun," And it just sort of, sparked some sort of curiosity about it that was easier to grasp. And yeah, so it's sort of like looking back as an adult now, you had this sort of instant gratification of this sort of WYSIWYG word processing exposure very early, and then coming home with dad telling me use this, and not really getting it. But as an adult, perhaps, sorry, as an adult now, I kind of understand the distinction a bit better, and Easy Script is starting to make sense. It was an earlier world, pre-WYSIWYG world, where the printer was asked to do the heavy lifting because the computers were dumb in a sense. So, you have this your Commodore saying, hey printer, print this text in bold for me, and the printer gets the text and it says, oh, you want it in bold? Yeah, sure, I can do that. So the smarts are there, Commodore says, oh, can you underline it for me? And then the printer says, yeah, I'll underline it for you. Can you make the text bigger and stuff for me? Expand it this way and that way. Yeah, I'll do that for you. So the smart came from there, in a sense, a pre-WYSIWYG world. But I was then wondering, well, why did Dad introduce it to me like that? This is a smart printer, and I think that came from his own workplace. He used to work at a local yeast factory, and on the factory floor there was a little sort of control room that had like all these sort of knobs and switches and lights, and it was quite fascinating for me to visit as a kid. And here's ChatGPT's take on what it looked like. And yes, and in one corner of the office there was this a Commodore PET, and yeah, fascinating to see. And I'm going to assume that there were people in the office, maybe my dad inclusive, that were, printing off reports and such with this, and maybe they were using tools similar to EasyScript to format their documents and to make them look nicer, underline this, bolden that, and so on. And probably, this is what Dad was thinking. Yeah, oh yeah, these tools exist. I want my boy to get some early exposure to this, and his own notion of a smart printer came from his own experiences like that, I'm assuming. But then, yeah, anyway, it's been fun passing this on. My own daughter now gets to try this print hash and have fun with that too. But yeah, it's nice to see that, my 1980s me enjoying things. You've got my printer back there behind me, and this printer's coming back to life in 2026, and my daughter gets to print out a few things too. Where to next from here? I've given the printer another spray with the WD-40. I think I was too conservative last time, so I'm a bit braver this time. I've sprayed it a bit more, and we'll see how that goes. I've explored more of the formatting codes. I've read more of the manual. I've read more of EasyScript, and after this presentation, I'll append video footage of those experimentations for people that want that extra insights into EasyScript and the printer special codes and escape codes and such. But yeah, if you're not interested, just skip it. And maybe one day it might be fun to try and convert this easy script to use Mega 65's 80 column mode. So, you could get 80 by 50 characters, see more of the screen, because it is a bit squeezed with 40 column mode to do printer stuff. So that might be fun. And yeah, after this, I'll share some more video on the printer's capabilities. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. So see you for now. Oh yes, and the video will also show easy script too. Pardon me. Bye.
Okay, just to capture some of the features here. There, this I didn't realize this was like a cartridge. That was the interface that you're going to plug into. Right now it's on the IEC DIN plugs that are suitable for the Commodore 64. Yeah, this whole thing can pull out. I don't think I can do it with one hand. I'll just pause and pull it out a little bit. I can pull that out a little bit and actually pull out more. So the whole thing comes out like that. And so there we have it. There's the information on that. And then we've got this kind of socket that plugs in, and the pins at the back here. Not sure if we can see it in the darkness here, but probably at the back there's some sort of port. Right there it is at the back. Hard to see, but yeah, I can't zoom in. That's there. Alright, that's that. Yeah, and there are two ways to feed in paper for this. You could use this sort of tractor feeder where the jaws here go in. There's a kind of locking mechanism at the back. There's these switches back here to open a lever on the other side. And it's the only way to sort of get this in. Okay, it's pretty hard to demonstrate with one hand. Try lever down. No, can't feed it to it. One goes in. If I did the same on the other one, maybe. Probably best to do these at the same time. I think they go in best at the same time. Oh no, I forced it in. Okay, and that sits like that. And when you roll this paper feeder thing, you'll see now this the tractor feeder rolls as well. So if you have your tractor feed paper, you can place that in, roll through nicely, and print out that way. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're using tractor feed mode, I believe you're meant to set this switch to the pin mode, so there's less friction when it rolls through. The other way with the paper feed tray, you'd go into this friction mode where there's closer friction. I don't know if you can see the difference if I zoom in. Maybe we can see one's a bit looser and one's a bit... No, I can't see much on this end. Oh, maybe my eyes can't spot it. Oh, also, while I'm here, the manual also mentioned this little lever here that you can roll up and down. This was meant for like adjusting for the thickness of paper. So up here I think was the thinnest paper, and down here was the thickest paper. I think you can see the difference in movement. I don't know, maybe we can zoom in. I think the head gets a bit closer, a bit further away. I'll bring it forward, get backwards. Yeah, I guess we can see it move a little bit. But yeah, I know the manual said you could feed in like envelopes, but I was never able to do that. I think envelopes were too thick for this thing, so I think I tended to just use thin paper only. So if you want to feed in paper manually, you have this thing, and I think it just rests like that. You adjust these things to suit your paper and the direction it's going to print in, or adjust it for the, I say, left margin and right margin you're planning for. And yeah, this thing will then move to the friction mode like that. And yeah, you feed your paper in like that. And I think you'd feed it in a little bit. Well, I found my paper tends to get stuck a little bit sometimes, but yeah, this time it worked. I'll try a bit more. Alright, can this thing print without this interface, serial interface connected? I'll give that a shot. There's a manual maintenance sort of service print mode where you hold this FF button down and power on, and we'll see if that works. Okay, let's see. Nope, it's just sitting there and saying paper out, so I guess it needs the interface plugged in. Okay, powering on now with the FF button on. Okay. Now print. So that works. Turn it off. Okay, you can pause it with this. Yeah, and then turn it, start it again. Pause it. Alright, turn off. Right, the manual mentions there's like an open with a secondary address, this end value that can be any of these things, like selecting uppercase and like line feed, pitch and stuff like that. Lowercase, uppercase and things. Anything else of interest? I guess I could try a lowercase character set. Maybe I'll give that a shot with a 7. Let's see what difference that makes. Open 1, 4, 7, and then I'll print 1. Maybe I should put this in hello world. Alright, let's print that. Let's have a look. Okay, yes indeed, it has printed in lowercase. Cool. So if I change the secondary address back to 0, so it does the uppercase and the graphics. Oops, I should close it first, eh? Close 1. Try again. Yeah, and then I do the print 1. Hello world. I guess we should see the uppercase version of this. It should be something like that. Close. Let's take a look. Yeah, I guess it did do that. Cool. Alright, the manual says we can turn expanded mode on with this print character 14. I'll give that a try. Maybe I'll just insert that in here. Character 14. Yeah, oops, not that one. Alright, let's print that out. Oh, file not open. Oh, now it's open. Okay. Let's try again. Oh, I've printed over the top of other stuff. I'll bring it back and print on an empty area. Alright, let's try print it again. Let's clean up what's down here too. Let's clean that. Let's escape. Goes it Q? Yeah, alright, that cleans that up. Let's print it again. I'll press enter here and we can watch it. Alright, so this is the expanded printing. Hello world. Cool. Okay, I'm just curious, if I print another line, is the expand still on? We'll take a look. Put fresh paper. Take a look. Yeah, okay, so expand is still on. So there must be a way to sort of turn it off. Okay, looking at the appendix C, yeah, there's various character values that do certain jobs. What jobs they do depend on what your dip switches on your printer are set to. So if you set certain switches to the Commodore way, it'll do these actions, or the Epson way, it'll do these actions. So we had CHR $14 before for double width on, so CHR $15 should be double width off. Okay, I've modified this line to turn expand off, and let's say is turn it expand on. The word expand is expanded, then turn it off again, and then still on. So I'll try and print that out. So I'll press enter on that. How'd that go? Let's pull it up. Oh, very nice. Is expand still on? Okay. They said character 18 is reverse mode, so let's try that. And 146 is reverse mode off. So I'll print this one. Let's have a look. Okay, interesting. Is that zoomed in okay? Can't read it, that one. It's a bit blurry. Okay, not too bad. Also in appendix C there's these escape sequences, so there's things like sets emphasize print and cancels emphasize print on escape E and escape F, so I'll try those. Okay, and this one I've escape E'd and then the word emphasized and then escape F to turn emphasize off and the word print. Let's try that. Okay, roll back up a bit, save some paper, enter. Oh, so what's that done? Alright. Oh, so it's sort of printed over the word twice to make it darker. Alright, so it's like a bolding effect, I guess. Yeah, cute. Okay, next example, try escape G for double strike mode, word double strike, and then escape H to turn double strike mode off and the word print. I'll try that out, let's see what that does. Don't know the distinction there. I guess it's darker, but not as dark as the emphasized one. Alright, as I'm sick and tired of typing CH27 for the escape, I just made that $8 now. So we've got escape S0 to make a superscript text, and then escape S1 to make a subscript text, and escape T to turn off superscript or subscript. Let's give that a try. Okay, print. Ooh. Nice. A bit hard to read, but that's just probably my very dry ink. Okay, we've got some more escape sequences here that say sets or cancels vertically enlarged print. So I'll give those a go according to these instructions. Right, hopefully I've got this right. Printing an escape, character 126, and then 1 for on, the vertically enlarged text. Escape, again, character 126, and then 1 and 0 for off this time. Let's see what this looks like. I'll put it back a bit to save some paper. Print this out. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty. Alright, I thought I'd just try the same example, but try and, like, that's the vertical turned on. I did the character 14 to turn on the horizontal. Let's see if we can do vertical plus horizontal. Turn it off here for vertical, turn off for horizontal with the 15. Okay, bring it here. Let's print this. Oh, very nice. Look at that. Very cool. Okay, I thought I'd try this example from the manual, something about NLQ mode, which I wasn't familiar with, near letter quality mode. So I'll give this a run and see what happens. Back up a bit, save some paper, press return. Okay, don't see much difference there. Maybe my eyes can't, unless I've made a mistake. I think I've made a mistake. Give another try with this permutation using on off like that. Yep. So I have to run it. Okay. Is this any better? I can't tell the difference. Near letter quality mode. Maybe it's slightly darker. Yeah, I can't tell much. Alright, there's something about compressed print here, and along with an example of how to use it further below. I'll give that a try. Alright, so here's the first line which has this compressed mode on, and then this one with the compressed off. Give that a run. Move this back a bit. Type run. Back up more. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. Yeah, I can see the letters are a bit more squeezed. Okay, interesting. Okay, next up I thought I'd try use Easy Script, and that's a Commodore 64 version, so I'll go 64. And to load that up, I'll do Shift and Run Stop is this one. And that'll load the first thing. And also you can hold down caps lock to make the load faster. Yeah. Okay, so this is the startup screen. I think they suggest 40 width because it's a Commodore 64. We're using disk and printer 0 for a Commodore printer is fine in my case. That brings us here where we can start typing in text, blah, blah, blah. We can try print it. It's a funny combination. You press F1, then you press O for output, then you press P for printer, and hopefully we'll see here blah blah blah. Okay, just taking a look at the EasyScript manual. They mention here in 8 to 10 there's this enhancing and underlining, and 8 to 11 special printer characters. So I'll take a look at those. Okay, here they've got various things where you press F1 followed by turning on underline or enhance. So a square bracket open, a square bracket close to turn it off. Bold or reverse, yeah, just normal bracket open or bracket close with the F1. So yeah, I can try something like that there. That'll be a bit tedious. So alright, let's try this underline or enhance. So I'll press F1, get this funny mode, and I'll do a square bracket open. Is that right? Yeah, that was square bracket open. Now type some text which says underline or enhance. I didn't see any sign of underline mode in this printer, but okay. So now press F1 and square bracket close, then press that funny character, and so now if I go F1 output to P, O and then P. Alright, so their sense of underline or enhance is to turn on the horizontal expansion. Okay. Just to capture some usage information, to delete a line, I'll press F1 and then the instell key. You can also insert a line by holding down Shift and instell. I can do that multiple times. Or I could just press instell on its own and multiple times, delete them, and F1 to bail out of this. Okay. Actually, I might make advantage of that by showing off some other features of EasyScript. F1, Shift and instilled, F1 to turn that off. And then these special escape codes they have within EasyScript, where you press F3, you get this funny character, and then you can type in certain things. I think line spacing, if I want a space of one line between each line, I can do that. I think that should do it. And now I'll type in all these other examples and see what each one does. Actually, before I go on, there was an error in what I had typed before. I can check for errors if I do F1 output to V to video, and there's an error here, and I forgot the carriage return, so I press return here, and then I do F1 output to video, and it gives you a view. Oh, that's not what I want for spacing. I was hoping for vertical spacing, so I'll have to look into that. Or actually, maybe this is EasyScript's way of showing what this open square bracket, close square bracket done on the printer. It printed it in this sort of horizontally expanded fashion, and I guess in EasyScript video mode they're showing it that way. Okay, so no problem there. I also, to get out of this video mode, I think it was Commodore key to scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen. Oh, actually see a bar at the bottom, that's like the bottom of the page, and you can press C to continue to the next page, or if it's finished you get back out. So from here, if I type next line, let's say enter, and if I now F1 O output to video V, okay, yeah, now we see there's a space of one line, so SP1 added that. So if I were to press C to continue again, if I were to change that to, let's say 3, and do F1 O V, type error, I'm not sure, I'll have to debug that. Okay, looks like I can't do 3. I can do, let's say 2 lines, F1OV, yep, and I can take that off C, and then I can do, let's say 0, which would have been the default FOV, but for my examples, I'll press C to escape there again. I'll pick 1, so there's a nice gap between each example. So the underlined one was with the square brackets escape sequence. Next one, I'll do the other examples from the book. Okay, let's do bold or reverse with the normal brackets. So I'll press F1, open bracket, prints that character, and I'll just say bold or reverse, and then I'll do F1 and then close bracket and prints that character. I'll do F1 O output to V video. Okay, bold or reverse, it's showing that like that. Inside EasyScript, I'll do C, bail out of that. So now if I do F1 O output to printer P. Let's take a look. Okay, yep, so bold or reverse has become, well, just reverse really. Okay, good to know. So I'll do the other examples one by one now. Okay, all the other examples are in based on what we see, these patterns here of using the other characters, you know, F1 followed by these things, and yeah, we'll give it a try. I wasn't sure what's the off character for superscript, subscript, so I'm just seeing if it turns off on the next line by saying is super subscript off the next line, and then this final bold one. Alright, I'll do F1 output to printer P. Okay, so how's it looking? The first one, maybe I zoom in a bit. Yeah, underline or enhance, so that's the square bracket that results in this thing. The normal brackets results in reverse. Shadow, I really can't see much in shadow. Red or condensed does nothing for me. I think if you had a printer with the two color ribbon like black and red, it would have changed to red. Superscript, subscript also didn't do anything in EasyScript, so maybe it's different characters there. Is it turned off here? Well, I guess it wasn't turned on here. So, and bold, I'll just scroll up. Did bold do anything? Not really. Okay, interesting. Okay, maybe a chance to preserve some memory of EasyScript usage. If I want to save this file, I can type F1 and then the letter F. Put a file name in here. Whatever, I'll say GI test, and I'll save it to the disk. The book also suggests a kind of technique of preserving a file name. I'll do F1 and shift and install to insert a line, F1 off. I think it was F3 and then the NB, was it, for a comment. Then they open a quote and they give the name of the file just as a hint for next time. So then if I was to do F1, so it's F for save file, instead of retyping GI test every time, the book suggests pressing F2, which is shift and F1, and it locates anything in quotation marks and just automatically writes it for you. And pressing F2 multiple times will look through all your text for anything in quotes and just automatically place it there for you. So that's an interesting option. So F2, and yeah, press return. It suggests, do you want to replace file? Yes. And the disk routines, like it's got some handy disk routine. If you press F4, which is shift and F3, you get into this disk mode, and you can look at your current directory with the $, and you can do certain commands like scratch and things like that, or rename, or they're in the manual. I can't remember them off by heart. One thing that was cute was like to dump this disk contents into memory, you can do plus and then $, and I should probably erase what was in memory before. Sorry, so I'll do F1, E for erase, A for all. I'll jump back into F4 disk mode. I'll type plus, I'll type $, enter. Now it puts this into your text editor mode. And so if you did want to load one of the files off here, if you had multiple files on a work disk, you would press F1, L for load, and then you could press F2 multiple times to cycle through anything in quotes. So you could toggle to, you know, whatever thing you wanted. Let's say we want to read this unzipped document. We can press return on that. It'll load it up. And yeah, that's in there, blah, 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 blah. I'll do, maybe it's F1. Sorry, no, I'll do that again actually. Right, I mean, if you can remember what you want to find, you can do F1, L, and just type GI test. But yeah, I thought that was a handy way to sort of browse through files. Very primitive, but it did the trick. Okay, the next problem I have is like, what about things that EasyScript doesn't support? Like we saw in BASIC there was that expand option that made the text look more bold. How are we going to accomplish that in EasyScript? And I feel like maybe it relates to this part of defining special characters. So as for what this is trying to convey, X is some ASCII value like character 14 for turning that expand mode on, or character 15 for turning it off. And I think then to make use of it, you'd press F1, and whatever this X value is a number from 0 to 9 it mentions, I think. So we define some 0 to 9 user defined ASCII characters and then inject them in. So I'll give that a try. Okay, so I'd say F3 0 equals 14, which was the expand, oh, sorry, was it the that's kind of boldened look. So F3 user defined character 1 equals 15 to turn that mode off. What was I right? I can't remember. Anyway, let's find out. I forgot what 14 and 15 were now. And then if I was to then write something in here with using it, oops, I'll just delete that. I think I type F1 0. So it's describing this in the manual as I forgot what it was called. Was this expand? I can't remember. Okay, and then F1 1 for my user defined character 1, and then I'll try output to printer under F1 OP, and we'll take a look. Ah, that was expand. Okay, yeah. I'll try and find the bold thing. I forgot what that was called. Okay, now I remember it was escape E and escape F to set emphasize print and turn it off. So I think there's a different way to do that in EasyScript. To draw, to send the printer an escape character, you press F1 and the up arrow key, this one, and that's the escape. And because here we want to escape E, so I just have to type the letter E after it. So escape E, and this should be, I guess I can just say emphasize. Okay. And then to turn it off, we're going to do F1, and again this up arrow key, and we get another escape character there with the reversed E. To turn it off, it was F. I'll type the word print after that. Okay, so that should do emphasize print. Actually, while we're here, I saw there was also like an italics. I didn't try that before. Let's see if I can spot that. Yeah, set italic characters cancels italic characters, so escape 4, escape 5. I'll give that a try. So so the escape character was again F1 up arrow symbol, and then it was turned to italics. Let me check again. It was 4. Okay, italics. Okay, and then F1 and then the up arrow thing symbol, and then 5 to turn italics off. Alright, so then if I was to press F1 output to printer, okay, yeah, expand. Oh, it went all the way here. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Yeah, it is emphasized. Okay, that's good. So there's a quick way to do the emphasized printing, like a bolding on this printer. And what about the italics? As for why it did the big long thing there, I think because I forgot to put a carriage return here, so it made 40 lines of blank. Yeah, let's take a look at the italics. I haven't seen that yet. Yeah, the italic, oh, it's very faint. Yeah, I guess that's italics. Yeah, I can see a bit of a curve to it. Interesting, cool. Okay, the manual did mention there is an underline mode, escape, hyphen, and then a 0 or a 1 depending on if you want it on or off. I'll give that a try then. Okay, I'll put the carriage return properly here, and I'll put, so they want an escape character, F1, the up arrow symbol, and then, what was that, they want a hyphen or minus, I guess. And then they want a 1 to turn it on, so underline mode, and then And so another escape to turn off. F1, up arrow symbol, hyphen or minus, and then 0, and then return. Okay, I'll do F1 output to printer. Alright, fingers crossed there. We see something underlined. I just can't see it so well. Yeah, there is an underline, yeah. Cute. Nice. Nice. The manual also came with an example of proportional printing, which is interesting. So normally I've seen monospace characters so far, but yeah, this example it runs this text, prints it with P1 turned on and P proportional turned off. They gave an example of what the it should look like. This nice proportional output, and then the other way with it off, it's just all monospaced. So nice. I won't bother typing that out, but interesting, it can do that too. Oh, and the manual explains what emphasize print was doing. It's saying it was printing it twice, and just I think it says it second time it's slightly offset to the right. That's what made it darker. And double strike was kind of the same thing, except it was slightly moved down. So then they said you could turn both on and get it even darker. So double strike on its own, and double strike and emphasize is even darker. So yeah, it's a pretty neat trick. Nice. If I bothered to read the manual, it walks through italics and things like underlining. Yeah, it's probably a good read, but yeah, I don't know if I've got the time to read everything. But yeah, well documented and interesting to explore. Oh yes, I was remembering before how to turn superscript and subscript off, and yeah, with this escape T was turning either off. Neat, it can have different international character sets too, and they gave an example of that. And I won't bother typing it out, but again, they inject certain characters that are specific to those character sets, and here we go, mañana with the little tilde on top of the N, Achno and München, and whatever. So yeah, cool. Okay, one thing I noticed, there's also got some graphics mode printing, which I'm guessing programs like Geos would have used, like GeoWrite, to make beautiful sort of printouts of, you know, fancy big fonts. Yeah, I don't have the time to sort of read all the details, but I'll just find any nice screenshots and share with you. Okay, so this example prints out this funny bitmap pattern, some sort of binary sequence, I'm guessing. This little example here prints out the American flag. We get a zoom up on that. Interesting. And here we have a big long program to plot out a sine curve, and this will give you something like that. Interesting. Okay, they mentioned some Commodore.graphics mode too. Don't know the distinction, but this little example is drawing these like Space Invaders like characters. Okay, something about combining these custom characters to draw a larger image. Okay, I guess this is a group of custom characters made this big sort of character there. Got chapter 8, creating characters. Interesting, design your own Commodore character. Cute. Some example of using that defined character. That's very cute, the Commodore characters in there. This one took my interest as a coder, a hex dump mode, where you type a program and it prints out the hex dump of the characters you sent to the printer. I'm going to give this one a try. Okay, they said for hex dump mode you have to power it on with the LF and FF buttons depressed. So I'll give that a try. The power switch is over here. I'll try and prep that. Okay. What's that say? It says Citizen 120D hexadecimal print something blah blah blah. Yeah, I guess it's just letting us know it's in that mode. Not very easy to read, but okay. So I've got my program here to say hello world, how are you today, blah blah blah. We'll see what happens there. Run. Get it over here. Let's take a look. Oh, fit that all in one line. Really? Okay. So what have we got? Oh yeah, we've got a hex dump. Oh yeah, hello world, how are you today? Cute. Although interestingly, I don't see the I'm fine, thank you, so maybe it just did a single line. Interesting. Oh, yeah, so one of the things I was curious about, can I move the print head a little at a time? If I give, like, let's say a string with the semicolon at the end to say no carriage return. So if I print that repeatedly, we'll go over here, we'll just go little increments. No, it doesn't. Okay, I can't move it one at a time. So I guess it'll, going back to here, maybe I'll put a few X's. Yeah, it's not printing these things. So maybe it'll wait until I just print nothing, perhaps. So if I go back here, we'll do like lots of spaces and an X. Oh, interesting. Oh, the I'm fine, thank you came now. All right. Maybe it needed a print one at the end of that. And all right. Huh, interesting. So it's done that. But can I print my X's now? Print X. I'm doing my print X's again. Print X. Print X. And then a print one. Is that going to do it? That doesn't do anything. Or maybe I just have to print an empty string, perhaps. Anything now? No, even that doesn't do anything. Oh wait, I'm still in hex dump mode. Maybe I have to turn off and on again. Yeah. Okay, let's try again. I'll open the channel. I'll print an X. Again, nothing prints to the printer where each time I do that. Print X. Print X. Did I print one? Okay, that did print something. Let's take a look. Let's print my X's. If I do that again, print X, print X, print X. Can I print an empty thing? Yeah, that does the same thing. Okay, so I can't manually move the print head step by step this way. Hey, who knows, maybe there's other ways to do it. Okay, there is something in the manual about a backspace that can be done, but it's only in the Epson mode. Right now the printer's in Commodore mode. I think this is set usually via the dip switches. And this example was sort of going backspacing. Maybe it's printing the same thing twice but with an offset or something, resulting in something interesting like that, which looks good, future print. But yeah, I think there was an escape code that does it, so I'll try that. Okay, the manual mentions this escape ~5 and this bracketed N. I don't know what that is, but Commodore and Epson mode. Is it like a 1 or a 0 flag maybe? Okay, here this one sort of defines it more clearly. Okay, a ~50 or ~51. I think this is how I turn Epson mode on. I'm not sure. Okay, I typed out the example of Epson mode versus Commodore mode, so I'll try to give that a run and make sure things are working as expected. Okay, I don't know what to expect here. I see Epson mode, but maybe not Commodore mode. I don't know, I'll have to think about what's happened. Okay, I had a typo, mistake, but I don't think it's worked because the Epson mode looks exactly the same as the Commodore mode, and this 0 and 1 is suspicious. I think that is the Epson mode 0 coming through in 1. So I think instead of character 0, it should be maybe, not ASCII 0, but character 0 in hex. So I'll try switch to that. Okay, I've changed that to character 0, character 1. Let's see now. If I give it a run. I still don't think. Has it done a switch? They look pretty similar. But yeah, I can't make up my mind if they're any different. I don't think so. Okay, judging what should have happened, yeah, I feel like it's been stuck in Commodore mode for both these things and hasn't switched to Epson mode. Maybe the dip switch takes precedence. Could be. So according to the manual, this stuff should take precedence over the dip switch settings. Yeah, not sure why. just to point out where the dip switches are located, they're sort of hidden under this sort of slider thing here. Interesting, it mentions a sheet cutter. I've never used the sheet cutter capabilities of this printer. Maybe that's another thing. But yeah, you slide this to the side and it reveals these dip switches. So I might as well preserve the settings there. So dip switch 1 is the furthest there. Okay. So 2 and 3 and 4. Printer mode, okay. I'll try to get familiar with these. Okay, taking my interface card out. Okay, I can see that little panel only gave me access to what was called switch 1, but I noticed there is a switch 2, and yeah, my one doesn't actually have a switch 2, it's got a chip in its place. Though the manual in Appendix D does mention there should be 2 switches, one for switch 1, one for switch 2, so maybe something in mine is hard-coded. Okay, now this is making more sense. So the switch 1, the first switch of switch 1 is for selecting is the printer device 4 or 5. Taking a look at my cartridge, that pin is down, so it's it's device number 4. As for switch 1, switch 2 of switch 1-2, that's the ASCII mode. Is it PETSCII or ASCII? And off should be PETSCII. That's a weird one for me because my switch 2 is up, so it's indicating ASCII, even though I've been printing PETSCII characters just fine, so I don't know if that's being ignored or not. Then the third switch is this control code mode. Commodore is the off and Epson is the on. Okay, so that one is down, the third switch, so maybe I can indicate that there. So we can see switch 1 is down for device 4, switch 2 is up for supposedly ASCII characters instead of PETSCII, which doesn't sound right, and switch 3 is down for Commodore mode, and I could flick that up for Epson mode. I'll give that a try. Okay, I've pushed the third one up, so hopefully it's in Epson mode, and I'll plug the interface card back in. Okie doke, I'll print out this, I'll run this program again and see if it's any different. It seems to be taking a longer time to print. I'm not sure if but I almost feel like the pin has done a different thing to what I thought. It's not more like fine character drawing, and this is a bit rougher. Or is it a different font or something? I really don't know. Okay, if I go to the Citizen 120D manual, this one only has a switch 1, there is no switch 2. So maybe these switches are a different purpose. Okay, yeah, this is the distinction. So here, the first switch is to decide, are we using a cut sheet? And I learned that's an optional thing. Not all models could have the sheet cutter thing, so this should be off. And then the automatic line feed, when you do a carriage return, should it automatically feed down the line or not? I think we had that on, I can't remember, I have to check. The cartridge is in again, doesn't matter. But yeah, what I thought would be turning on Commodore mode and Epson mode is switch 3 has a different purpose. It's for this model, the 120D Citizen, these two switches together, 3 and 4, the combination of are deciding, are we in Epson FX mode 1 with off, Epson FX mode with 2 with on, Epson FX mode 3 with off, on, or IBM graphics printer mode with on. Alright, so yeah, what might change really, probably just jump between Epson FX modes. They said C table D2, I guess that's further down. Alright, so this is saying that if we switch 3 and 4 off in FX mode 1, and the other switches beyond have certain purposes, and etc for further below. If I go further below, they talk about Epson FX2 mode, and the other switches have different purposes. Picking between international languages. Okay, interesting. But yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of magical switch from Commodore mode to Epson mode here, so that's probably why that example doesn't work on my printer.